Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. Hey, tonight's 9/11. We shall not ever forget. But hey, tonight we're going to do something similar to what we've done in the past, but I had interviews, part 1, part 2, and tonight's going to be, I think it's part 3, with Angel1 and I having a discussion. So hopefully you enjoy it. It's going to be full of security, stability, potentially exchange rate changes in the future, al-Sudani, all of the little things that have been in the news lately. We have the Ministerial Council of Economics in the news. We have the Parliament in the news. All of them talking about specific things that are geared to get Iraq into a market economy. And so we're watching for that tonight. So that's going to be a good thing. So all of you members that are or new to Patreon, look, once you join our Discord chat room, Patreon offers it for free as becoming a paid member to Patreon. So be sure to click on the direct message sent to you by Gigi to get set up and verified. And hey, let's not forget the great Samson who brings in all the news that ends up in the Discord chat room. It's phenomenal. She's from Australia, and so it's so great that she's able to do her thing at a different time where I can do my thing. So we appreciate all the work that she's done, and it's going to be an awesome evening. So please enjoy the audio that we have. It's about 27 minutes, real close. But please enjoy it, and we'll see you guys soon, because it really is exciting times these days. It really is exciting. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Monday afternoon. It's kind of early evening, but anyway, I wanted to chat with you guys. I got a guest with me today. We haven't talked to this gentleman for quite a while. He's obviously very busy, just like we all are. Angel1's going to be with me for a few minutes tonight. We're going to go over some things. It looks really good, you guys, that the country of Iraq is showing signs of just incredible security and stability. I'm going to just kind of brief on some of that tonight, and we can go into some other things that are happening. But ultimately, the security and stability, well, we've seen al-Sudani has had a really lengthy interview this afternoon. It's a long one. I would suggest you guys get the video, get it translated, and read that. There's just a lot to it. Way too much for us this evening. But the cool part is that the ISIS has basically been taken care of. That's security. The countries, UN, United States, deals with different countries, support contracts, show support. Big investors are not coming into Iraq unless they have that security and stability. And we're going to see a few of these things that support that. And the good thing, too, is that the Ministerial Council of the Economy realizing, everybody, that group of people is made up of key people, whether it's the central bank, it's the finance ministry, and the legal side of things. It's just a lot of different planning, the foreign ministers, everybody at the top in Iraq internally are part of that. And so they're out there talking about the economics of the country. Inclusive of that is the Ministry of Oil. So when we're talking about investment, we're talking about borders. Borders need security. They need the stability. So we have all of these things kind of coming together in a big picture. But it says today that they effectively resolved the most outstanding problems related to the operation of the border crossings. So they've been knocking things out, and they were a big meeting, and they're talking about the recommendations of what they need to do. And one of the things that they're going to be doing pretty soon too is that the recommendations from the Ministerial Council of Economy to the Council of Ministers, once they get that to a vote, which could very well be in the next 2 days or so, according to what they've said. They said 2 days, but give them a couple extra hours, if you will. But they're supposed to have some decisions to be made, and those decisions are going to be binding. So they're going to have to abide by that. And what I mean by they, I mean Iraq as Baghdad, as also Kurdistan, all one. So they're all going to have to abide by those things. And some of those things that we're talking about is non-oil revenues, taxes and tariffs at the borders, and all that sort of thing. They're the Kurdish leaders. They've been getting together, and they've been working with the United States, the ambassador, She's been very instrumental in helping out, keeping things relatively stable. It's going to be probably a contentious period just because of the nature of getting down to the wire. It's almost like the negotiations, they get a little bit aggressive. But one of the things that they wanted to focus in on was especially the budget and those outstanding problems. So Romanowski expressed her concerns about those things, and they're going to work through that. But we all know that there is stability, even after the Kirkuk incident, where sadly some folks got hurt and killed. But they've been addressing that stuff quickly and stamping it out quite right on time and as best they possibly can. So Al Sudani is definitely big up on security and stability. It says here that the Parliamentary Finance Committee today reveals presenting final technical reports for the representatives in respect to the oil revenues and funds. So that's in the news because we've all been waiting for the budget. We've been watching for the oil revenues, non-oil revenues. And here again, the Finance Committee says that they're hosting the Ministry of Oil in the federal government with Kurdistan, and that's going to be over the next 2 days. So the Federal and Financial Supervision Bureau of the regions are going to be there. So look, they've got they're processing a final technical report. So that's going to be awesome to see, and we should see things like that in the news hopefully in the next 48 hours or so. And again, basically the parliamentary decision is that these things that they're going to be going over are binding with these government agencies. And so at the last hoorah, if you will, with all the security and stability, these parties, they need to be unified. And I think we're going to see that in a big way. So we'll let that one slide. But when it comes to the security and stability, the director for the United Nations of Operations around the world has been working with security systems with UNESCO, and the director of the program of the Development of Ministries Interior across the world. So this is a global initiative. It's not just about Iraq. We've been saying that for quite a long time, maybe even over a year or two, that it's not all about Iraq, but it is about Iraq. And the biggest thing is that they're notably doing coordination with each other and joint cooperation. So again, the U.S. ambassador makes a comment today that says the United States of America respects its Iraqi partners, their continued commitment to establishing border security for a more stable, secure, and a sovereign Iraq. So look, the safety and security of the international partners is the security of the whole world. I mean, they're really talking large when it comes to this. So the effects that we're going to see is going to be amazing. And with that comes, believe it or not, is achieving more international flights into Iraq, major cities from around the world. That's a big statement. So they're expanding. So that means the security and the stability has legs to stand on. And I'm guessing that one last comment would probably be enough on the security and stability. I think everybody could get the point. It says that by this delegation, the Saudi ambassador to Iraq, the delegation is basically giving a positive message with that stage of cooperation between the two countries, Saudi and Iraq. And it goes to say, it says, Iraq is experiencing an unprecedented state of stability at the security, the political, economic, and social levels, as well as an unprecedented, again, they use that term, regional, Arab, and international openness. And we stress maximizing the common interests with the kingdom in a way that serves everyone's interests. I think they're talking about some of the largest investors in the world. And I'm assuming contracts from some of the largest investors in the world are probably on the table. So with that said about the security and stability, I want to introduce Angel1, and I hope he's out there ready to go and have a quick talk with us.
Yes, sir. I am ready. Thank you. As always, such an honor to be on with you. And first and foremost, hello to all of your Patreon group over there. Militia Man and I talk about you guys often. We probably talk every day, if not definitely every other day. But, buddy, as you know, we've talked several times today.
Yes.
I am beyond myself today. You and I have chatted over the weekend. We knew that this special, quote unquote, special meeting that was nationally televised with Sudani was to be put on today, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
And we got some translators, and we wanted to make sure that we did our due diligence so that what he was saying was translated correctly. And we got that. We had a couple of translators who got that for us, and we've studied and we've talked about it. And I'm excited to be able to talk about that. Preparing for this call, I was thinking, hey, should I get myself a glass of tequila or ginger ale? And I'll tell you what, I chose ginger ale because my insides are excited. I need to calm down a little bit. What we've been hoping for all these years is upon us. It really is. So great job, great lead. Thank you again.
Most welcome.
Hey, let's talk about security. You nailed it. But why? Why now? Why is Sudani all of a sudden having a special meeting, nationally televised, talking about security? Why stability? I'm not going to rehash what you went over, but the bottom line is this: Iraq is ready. The environment is ready. And so one thing I do want to talk about, he spoke at length about the exchange rate. He talked about the U.S., he talked about Iran, and one thing I want to talk about that happened a few weeks ago, the WTO had asked Iraq, for stability purposes, they had asked them to finalize trade agreements. This was about 3 weeks back, and wanted them to finalize all of those so that they can show that they had enough trade for the many years to come. They've done that. That was announced today. Sudani even said in this special meeting, televised meeting, that they have contracts that he's not even able to discuss. He even said some of these contracts are not able to begin yet. And we know why. They're waiting for that exchange rate to change. Now, let me give you a little bit of intel here.
Sure.
Over Labor Day weekend, okay, Iraq has a delegation fly into the U.S. They flew in on Friday, okay?
Yep.
They signed a memorandum of understanding. Now, in this nationally televised meeting that Sudani had today, he talks about America signed an agreement. This is what he was referring to, the MOU. And in this MOU, it was very broad, very, very broad.
Okay.
And within it, okay, America has agreed to support Iraq in all of its endeavors. Now, that's super important that America signed that. Okay, here's why.
Okay.
Because after the BRICS meeting, late August, a few weeks ago, BRICS announced that Iraq is the heart of BRICS. But that's crazy because Iraq's not even in BRICS.
Right. I got it, yeah.
Shortly after that, remember that?
Yeah.
Shortly after that, Iraq says publicly, we will not be joining BRICS now. Now, Iraq is the most coveted country in the world right now. And Sudani was flexing today. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous hour and 24 nationally televised meeting. I mean, gorgeous. He talked about water. He talked about railroads. He talked about trade. He talked about energy. He talked about wheat. I mean, you name it. I'm going to tell you what he really talked about. He talked about how this is no longer a third world country. And the last time we spoke, I had said that Iraq was going from a third world country to a first world country. And today, this is exactly what he talked about. A first world country is secure.
Yes.
A first world country is stable. And not
Absolutely.
only that, a first world country is highly coveted. He talked about the agreements with India, with Iran, with China. I mean, you name it. He was talking about they have agreements with everybody. Now, recently you've seen Iraq broker deals amongst countries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep. Yes.
Now, this was brilliant. This MOU that was signed over Labor Day, okay, was brilliant. Iraq is going to use this MOU to their leverage, okay?
Okay.
And to their advantage. I'm going to tell you why. Shortly after that, once America agreed to support Iraq in all of its endeavors, Iraq is the one that brokered the deal with America and India that was just announced over G20. Iraq has been brokering deals for America because America has now agreed to support Iraq in all of its endeavors, including its currency reform.
Awesome. Yeah, that one of the articles that you were just referring to, I think it was published on the 26th, 27th. G20 countries go to work to reform the World Trade Organization, and it deals with India and the United States. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, and if you think India and the United States did that on their own, then you're not aware of what's been going on lately. But if you look at it, Iraq is highly coveted.
Yeah.
And so Iraq is in such a strong position that they now have the power. Iraq is the one that also brokered Iran and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's massive.
Iraq has been brokering a ton. You know what world leaders do? They broker.
Yeah,
they broker deals.
Yeah, they're taking the stage of where they've always really been. Even back, I guess, as far back as the 40s, 50s, they were a mediator in the region, and they're coming right back to doing it. It's obvious with the deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now we see talk about even this rail line, even helping interconnect Israel with the whole region.
That is correct. Everything in the Middle East will go through Iraq. Everything from Asia into the Middle East will go through Iraq. Iraq is on, now listen, you can look at this one or two ways. Either Iraq is on the verge of being a great power, or Iraq is already a great power. You can't be on the verge if you're already brokering deals. They already are acting.
It seems like they're acting like this last year since November, probably late last year. They've turned the corner, and because of those broker deals that were in the works behind the scenes and got taken care of. I mean, the deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia is phenomenal. It's historic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But let's give the people what they want. I mean, they love to hear you talk. They probably don't like to hear me talk, but they want to talk exchange rate.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're here for, is to see if that's what their whole goal is to give the citizens the purchasing power and move on into the global financial system, and they just are not going to do that. I don't think at 1310.
No, and Sudani mentioned that today. Sudani mentioned that he is no longer worried about the black market. The black market is going away. They have secured all the borders. They are able to count everything going in and everything going out. They're no longer concerned about the black market or the parallel market. They are not. I'm going to tell you why. Because very soon, and I mean very, very soon, we will have a brand new rate. We will have a rate that they have been working on, that you've been looking for, that I have been looking for all of these years. And for Sudani to come out and talk about security, stability, and the exchange rate, this is the ultimate setup to change their rate. Now, here's what I know The WTO had asked them to finalize those contracts. They did. There is one more requirement that the WTO is asking from Iraq, and that is to change their exchange rate. That is what the WTO is waiting for. Now, there are only two things left to do on this laundry list of things for us to get to the bank. What are they? That is to change the exchange rate, release the lower denoms, or like they call it in country, the new notes, okay, which
right.
are the lower denoms.
Sure.
And at that point, shortly thereafter, if not simultaneously, I have my opinion.
Of course.
It'll be on Forex. Internationally, they'll have an internationally exchangeable currency, and that is when we go to the bank.
That's what we've been waiting for, and it sure sounds like these guys are hitting the ball out of the park, because Saddam took all that time to educate the people and get them up to speed on a one-on-one basis. It's phenomenal.
For Soudani to do what he did today was nothing short of a power move. Nothing short of it. I mean, he talked about everybody has to go through Iraq for major trade. I mean, he talked about Iraq building brand new hospitals, the water, the oil. I mean,
yes,
Iraq is producing two-thirds more than they did in the 90s. Oil.
Exactly.
Since you brought up Kurdistan, let me also add this. There was, and we talked about this the last time we were together as well, Iraq was split into two. And I remember mentioning on that call and with you many other times with our team, or like you like to call them, crew, that Iraq needs to be in compliance with their constitution. And what that means is they have to be one country, meaning you can't have a Kurdistan region and a Baghdad region. That has now been accomplished. Everything is now under one. So constitutionally, they are now acceptable. I'm telling you, we are only waiting for two things, and that is the exchange rate to change and the LDs, or the new notes, to come out. And it is upon us.
Exciting times, because that's what it looks like. It looks like they're right at that precipice, and timing couldn't be better.
No, everything we're seeing now it's no longer about security or stability, but it's talking about how great of an impact Iraq is having on the world.
Yeah, I sense there's that kind of an emotion coming from Al Sudani, because when he was talking about the railway links coming from the Port of Fa, and he was going back and forth about certain things investment-wise, and he's pretty proud of his country, and he thinks he's going to be able to make it all happen. It's like, what are you talking about that we can't do this? No, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to happen. It's going to be a good thing. So, pretty exciting.
Very exciting. Very, very exciting.
Yeah. So the next couple of days, I think people are going to be kind of going, scratching their head, going, man, do we sleep tonight? do I drink ginger ale all day?
That is my drink of choice now, and you know me, I love my tequila.
Right.
But ginger ale is my drink of choice today. But buddy, I am not a date and rate guy.
Nope.
So I have a really good idea on some of those things. But actually, I won't even go there.
Sure.
But I'll tell you this: I would not be surprised if something special happened very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Well, they have a buzz on to get some of these things done, and the Parliament is what I talked about in my lead-in a little bit, is that they gave a time frame to be talking about the budget and to be talking about specific things that had binding consequences. on the decisions that'll be made by the Ministry Council of Economics. And those council of ministers are going to have to vote on that. And that's going to be within or less than 24 hours, less than 48 hours, according to what I read too. And that was printed possibly even last night. So it's going to, time is short. By Wednesday?
I like that.
Okay. I think that's right at where it's at, Wednesday, because that came out this morning. If it was out last night, it's like, early morning my time, so on Monday. So, yeah, very good stuff, man. Very good. Well, Angel1 has been phenomenal. Any last closeouts that you'd like to talk about, or are we set up?
You know what? Looking at this thing 30,000 feet in the air, I think what Sudani did today was an incredible setup for what's to come. We have to ask ourselves, why this? Why now? And it is an incredible setup. I will also say this, that when the time does come to exchange, you and I have talked about this, that I'm excited to be able to share with the people, your people especially,
okay.
Some exchange tips,
okay.
some pointer, what to expect, what not to expect, how to negotiate, what to look for, and things like that. The only reason why I do this is to make sure that the people are informed and they're led correctly.
Good.
And so I appreciate you allowing me to use your platform to do that,
okay.
because
Sure.
I am a man for the people, always.
Oh, good. Yep, same here. And so we'll have more conversations about that in the future with everybody. I don't know that we're just going to take off and go off into the dark at first, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a lot of questions. One thing that is for sure, that I'm not a professional advisor for financial advice, but for guidance, we might be able to say, hey, this is what we see and this is what we're looking at, and hopefully this is the type of a language that you can understand, that you can say, hey, point you in the right direction, because there's a lot of really good professionals out there that would be willing to help you and everybody, whether it be taxes, trusts, many different things, just legal stuff. I mean, everybody's going to need to do their own due diligence, but getting a little guidance, there's nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, this is definitely not a legal or financial advice, but I know a thing or two. I have an idea of what's going to happen and kind of how it's going to go down. And I also want to encourage you guys to join Militia Man's blog and his group, his website, because I will be sharing things inside of there. That is a very strong, growing, thriving community. And here's just the truth. They'll get things that not everybody else does. And so there will be tips and recommendations from myself as well as the crew in there, which I'll tell you what, sometimes we think, but it's going to cost too much. Listen, when it comes to something that you believe in, it doesn't cost to give, it pays. And in this case, it will definitely be worth the payment.
Thank you very much. And I think I can agree with that, that's what we've done for many, many years. I think you know my background. I just do what I do to try to help people. And the nice thing about it now is that some people are helping me help them, and that's how it should work. So it's all good. This is really getting to be exciting, and coming to a different, it's a new beginning. That's basically what it's going to come down to, and we're all going to have to start from scratch on the same level playing field that they're going to offer us. So it's going to be good.
Very good. Thanks again, buddy. I appreciate you.
All right, man. God bless and have a great day. Angel1, it's always a pleasure to have you. Come back anytime you'd like. Always, and I'm looking forward to seeing you more often.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.